Hello, 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 and welcome. Super excited to be here with you this evening. It's been a hot minute that I've been here on a Monday night on this platform. And in theory, I'm supposed to be on a different platform, but we're in a full moon and Mercury is shifted to Scorpio. And anytime Mercury makes motion transits from one zodiac sign to another, whether it's a retrograde or not, doesn't matter. It creates a little technical difficulties, some challenges for that matter. Anyway, I'm super excited to be here with you tonight. And I'm just going to take a moment before I go ahead and introduce myself to ask you to go ahead and share out our show for tonight, just like I'm going to do right now. So let me see if I can find me. How about we start there? That's always a plus, right? Make sure I'm streaming where I need to be streaming. Says I am. And I'm just going to go over to YouTube to make sure I'm there as well. And if you are watching from YouTube, go ahead and share it out. Let me know that you are there by saying hi. I'd appreciate that. Let's see where we are. We are live. Awesome, awesome. Hi. So I'm just going to share it out as well. And then I'm going to get this party started. And I will introduce myself as well. Oh my goodness gracious. All right, where were we? Let's get back to the page so we can all be on the same channel tonight. All right. So if you are here watching on Facebook, let me know that by saying hello. I'd appreciate it. I'm going to go ahead and share this out to different groups. Let everyone know that we are here, we are live, we are ready to go. All right, there we have it. So for those of you who don't know who I am, I'm Reverend Joanne Angel Barry Cologne. I'm the founder of Wholistic Fitness, and why I serve, help, and transform women over 40, helping them to release emotional weight without dieting. I also hold space for them so they can gain some confidence and get courageous enough to step away from their 9 to 5 and move into their soul's calling. So that is what I do. The W in Holistic is all about the total person that you are. It's about your physical body. It's about your mind. It's about your emotions. It's about your being a soul, and you have a spirit as well. All that being said, as a certified holistic personal trainer with many modalities that I bring into practice to help you get to know who you are from a soul level. Now, in theory, tonight I was supposed to be on Strong Island Television sharing this wisdom. And like I said, Mercury has just entered into Scorpio. And anytime Mercury travels from one zodiac sign to another, whether it's a retrograde or not, there seems to be some conflict that shows up with that. So I decided rather than just not appearing, I'd come and share some insight here on my platform for those of you who were excited about me coming on. Tonight's topic is all about stop starving yourself skinny. Stop starving yourself skinny. So when we think about that, stop starving yourself skinny, what does that actually mean in a nutshell? And we're going to go into more details about that in just a minute. I just want to see something. Hold on. Hold on. What did I do? All righty. All right, I didn't do anything. All right, let's come back here. All right, I hit something. Anyway, so I'm going to get into the big topic about stop starving yourself skinny. But before I do that, I want to talk a little bit about the energy that we're currently in. We do have some major energy happening at this point in time. Excuse me as I look distracted. That's because I am. Something just popped up on my screen. Hopefully I can get rid of it. Anyway, if I can, I can't. No big thing. So here we have it. So when we think about this energy that we're in right now, it is October 6th, 2025. And that self, that energy, that 6 is a reminder based on numerology that we all have a service that we are in this lifetime. I want to see if I can get this out of the way. It is distracting me. Let's see. Can we get this out of the way? Move it along. Don't know. Ah, there we go. Did it. Yay. Sorry for that distraction. So as I was saying, when we think about the number 6 in numerology, the number 6 is associated with service. It's how you're serving. It's how you're serving others in regards to the purpose that you're here, or maybe you're still in your 9 to 5. How are you serving in that, on that platform, with purpose for that matter? It's also about serving your body as well. It's about your routine, your schedule. It's your health and wellness. It's very much about your nervous system and your digestive system. Now, when I speak about your digestive system, I want you to keep in mind that we're going to speak about the digestive system based on the actual word digestion system, and then also based on the metaphysical understanding on what is it you're digesting and what is it you're having a challenging time digesting. Because those two things are really important to ask yourself, especially with the energy we are in at this moment of time. So because we are in October, and October carries that 10 vibration, which is about the work that we are here to do. We are literally in the final months of 2025. We have 3 months left, and we really counted it down at this point in time based on the energy that we are in. 31 minus 6, what is that? Just doing some quick math. So we have exactly 86 days left of 2025. And in that 86 days, the big question to ask yourself, what is your work? What are you working on? What projects are you in a process of possibly putting a period at the end? Maybe you're done with it, or maybe you're actually just done with it, that you're finding that you're not completing it, so maybe it's not meant to be birthed. We have to think about it in that way. It could be a project, it could be a place, it could be a relationship. And that's what this energy is really about when we think about it, with this full moon that we have here and now in Aries energy. Now, a little bit about Aries on the whole. Aries is fire, Aries is action. Aries is your I am statement. So perhaps you are creating some new I am statements of who you are and who you want to serve and how you want people to see you. Now, in addition to the moon being in Aries, we do have a lot of energy sitting in Aries in this point of time, where we have both Neptune and Chiron in Aries. So we talk about Neptune being in Aries at 0 degrees. Neptune is about your spiritual evolution. And perhaps you've heard me say this expression several times prior, where this energy with Neptune in Aries is about taking your mask off to be transparent, to show up as who you really are, to show up in the service you're meant to be in, and to come away from this idea of doing something because someone else thought you were supposed to do it. It's now time for you to really stand on your platform and do what you came here to do. That's that Neptunian Aries. And by October 22nd, Neptune is going to spin back into Pisces. And that's a whole different energy within itself, because Pisces is really about bringing things into flow. And Neptune still carries that vibration of your spiritual evolution, how you are evolving, whether it's from Aries or Pisces energy. You want to pay attention to this energy as we're here right now, and where it's going to be moving to when it moves back into Pisces. And between Aries and Pisces, where does it sit on your chart? And they're going to be right next to each other, by the way, so you don't have to go too far to figure out where that is. Hello there, Anne. How are you, my love? Yes, you're seeing me here. I was supposed to be on the Strong Island television platform, but there were some technical difficulties, and I didn't want to not be live, so here I am. So thank you so much for joining me here. Now, in addition to the full moon being in Aries, I want you to also note that the full moon is at 14 degrees in Aries and in opposition of the sun in Libra, which is also at 14 degrees. Now, when we talk about 14 in numerology, we're going to reduce it down to that single digit, and that's letting us know right off the bat that this who am I and who am I here to serve, the we as Libra, this is really about something's changing. Something is going to be changing for you during this full moon's energy in Libra season. So I want you to pay attention to what that might be for you. And this all has a huge correlation with the title that I chose for tonight, which is about stop starving yourself skinny. Because it's not just about the direct statement of stop starving yourself skinny, but it's also in reference to everything that's correlated with all the energy that you're either calling in or blocking. So now, in addition, as I said, Mercury has just entered Scorpio as well. So between the full moon in Aries and Mercury moving into Scorpio, these are two really powerful energies for today. And rightfully so, it makes sense to why there would be some technical difficulties happening right now, because that's a lot of energy in our era right now, and we're all feeling it in one way or another. So I really want you to pay attention to the energy that you are feeling. Now, a little bit about Mercury in Scorpio at this point in time, as of today, until till October 22nd. So it's a really short-lived transit. And I often say that when a planet sits in a zodiac sign for a really short period of time, that means there's going to be a lot of intensity that's going to go on with that planet and that zodiac sign. So we talk Mercury. Mercury is about how we communicate, how we express ourselves, the platforms we're on. It's also about where we're traveling to and what we're learning and teaching. So pay attention to the things you might be learning during this short period of time, and also what you might be teaching during this short period of time, because whether you see yourself as a teacher or not, in a literal sense, we're all teaching each other. Every person is teaching another person how to treat us. So we want to pay attention to that. And with Mercury being in Scorpio energy, it really is about the total experience from behind the scenes, because Scorpio is really about what goes on behind the scenes. It's about other people's energy. It's about our shadow work, so to speak. And it is about a massive transformation that's about to undergo. Mercury in Scorpio, there's a big transformation that's about to undergo. I almost want to say that this is also like an unexpected shift that's going to come in, something that you thought was done, and then all of a sudden it's like you get a letter stating that, oh, this is what's happening now. So just as though you thought something was done, or that you were not going to be a part of something, you get a letter stating that, no, we're going to take you in. That's that Mercury Scorpio energy. So I want you to pay attention to that. So if you have received any notifications within the last maybe 2 or 3 weeks or a couple of months that you were either denied something or you didn't get accepted of something, pay attention to this Mercury Scorpio energy and where Scorpio is on your chart, because that's going to play a big role, whatever house it's sitting in. In addition, we also have Venus that's going to be entering Libra. Currently, Venus is in Virgo energy, which in theory, Venus being in Virgo energy was a comfortable ride, because it was really about bringing more self-care and self-love into the service that we are here doing for ourselves and for others. And with Venus entering Libra, it's his home place. So it's a powerful time, and this is going to happen on October 13th. And Venus will stay in Libra until November 6th. So it's a perfect time to really focus in on more harmony and balance and bringing more grace into the picture when we talk about Venus in Libra's energy. And on the same day, we have Pluto, that's in Aquarius, that's been retrograde, is going direct. A little bit about Pluto and Aquarius in this moment of time as it moves direct. We all know that when a planet is in retrograde, things slow down and it's like a review. Now that Pluto is going to be moving forward, the review's over. Now it's about forward movement, which means Aquarius is about your visions, is about connections and collaboration. Aquarius is associated with Uranus and Saturn as well. So there may be some big disruptions going on, some unpredictable shifts happening that you were not expecting. And because Pluto is about things coming to an end and new things happening, be prepared to see things coming to an end and new things happening. And this is a collective energy, so we are already seeing that in the current events. But also pay attention to, again, where you have Aquarius on your chart and where Pluto is, because that's playing a role in reference to this full moon Aries energy. Remember, full moons are about releasing things and ending, so we can begin something new. So we're letting something go so we can make space for something new. In addition, as I mentioned before, we have Neptune that's entering Pisces on October 22nd, the same day where the Sun will be entering Scorpio on October 22nd. And for that moment of time where we will have both Mercury, Mars, and the Sun all sitting in Scorpio energy, which means there's going to be some big shifts taking place. And of course, that conjunction that those three planets are going to have with Pluto, now that Pluto is going to be moving forward as of October 13th. So now that you have the current events, this energy we have going on, and remember that Mercury in Scorpio is a very short-lived transit. Is only going to be there for about 14 days, give and take, from October 6th, which is today, right to about October 29th. And then Mercury is going to enter into Sagittarius. So we want to pay attention to the Scorpion energy that's going to be happening, because again, Scorpio energy is the big transformation. Scorpio energy is the thing that's going on behind the scenes that we're not seeing, and that's going to come right in front of us. So pay attention to that energy. Now, let's tap it into the conversation of the night in reference to stop starving yourself skinny. What does that actually mean, stop starving yourself skinny? If you had a chance to catch my live that I did this afternoon, which, by the way, I'm hoping you've been catching them. I have been going live for the last, oh my God, today is, I think, day 11 or day 12. So I've been going live every day, and my goal is to go live right until the end of 2025. Now, my internet seems a little spotty right now, so I'm hoping that you can hear me. And if so, just put in the comments that you can, and if hopefully we'll catch up, because it just seems a little spotty. And if it continues to happen, maybe I will have to come to an end on this. But anyway, I'm going to do the best and see where it goes. So if you've been following my lives from the afternoon hours, I've been sharing with you a little bit every day of the things that I do, the content that I share, and what I do when I work with clients like yourself, and the pain points. Now, a big part of what I do, and I emphasize that this in my introduction, is that when I work with women over 40, it's not about dieting or losing weight. It really is about releasing the emotional weight that's associated with your stories. It's associated with releasing the emotional weight without dieting. So this right here, there's no restrictions, there's no limitations, there's no resistance that comes about with the connection and relationship with food. And one thing I know to be true in the industry of the in health and fitness, there's many professionals, trainers specifically, who are constantly encouraging their clients to basically starve themselves, putting it point blank, basically to starve themselves. And what I mean by that is, if you are working out and you are consistently exercising. When I use the word exercise, I don't mean walking, I don't mean yoga, I don't mean Zumba classes. I mean strength training, lifting weights, where you have a consistent practice, where you're working out 2 or more days a week consistently at about, give and take, 30 to maybe max 60 minutes during those sessions. And ideally, you want to make sure that you are fueling your body, so your body has the energy it needs to do what it needs to do, and that your body doesn't end up utilizing the muscle that you're working so hard to get as its form of energy. Because that's what happens if we're not eating enough in our day, is the little bit of muscle you do have, if you are lifting, your body will start to use that muscle, which is basically stored energy, as a source of fuel. And then it's almost like a sabotage, because your body's using the very thing you're trying to build, which is why it's really important to pay attention to making sure you're eating a sufficient amount of food in your day to support the muscle you are working on building. So one of my process that I do when working with clients like yourself is focusing more on building more muscle without the focus on restricting your food intake. So when a client comes to me initially, within the first 6 to 12 weeks, there is no conversation about nutrition. And I've shared this in my other lives during the course of the day. And why is there no conversation about nutrition? Because I really want to see how your body adapts to the strength training that you will be doing, how your body is going to transition and transform by lifting weights. Now, if during the 6 to 12 week process, I'm not noticing results from my clients, then of course, theoretically, I am going to have a conversation about nutrition to find out. However, there's three main questions that I always ask new clients when they first start with me. And those three main questions are, how many times a day do you eat? How much water are you drinking? And are you getting enough sleep? Because those are the three factors that's going to make or break the results that you're looking to accomplish with your discipline and consistent practice. If you are not sleeping enough, your body is going to have a challenging time recovering. If you are not eating enough, drinking enough water, your body is going to hold on to water, which may cause you to be bloated. And not drinking enough water would also may also cause cramping, and that becomes uncomfortable when you sleep at night. And based on food, depending on how many times a day you're eating or not eating, will also determine on how your body is going to respond to what it is you're doing when it comes to strength training. Now, let's be real about it. When we use the word strength training is not about losing weight. Strength training is exactly what it is. You are training to build strength. And the only way to really build strength is to make sure you're getting the ample amount of calories your body needs in order to build strength. Now, you might be asking yourself, well, how do I know how many calories I'm supposed to be eating? And that's a really good question. And the rule of thumb is, in theory, based on science, for our bodies just to function without any activity. And again, if you've watched any of my lives or you watched any of my shows, you've already heard this before. So this is like a repeat, a review. Based on science, based on research, for your body to function, for your eyes to blink, for your blood to flow, for your heart to beat, for your organs to work, we need a minimum of 1,200 to a maximum of 1,500 calories a day in order for our body just to function. That's not taking in consideration your physical activities that you're doing, maybe laundry or vacuuming or climbing upstairs or whatever it is that you might be doing in addition to just sitting. You still need calories. And what I know to be true, because I've witnessed it from watching many trainers work with their clients, is that many people start their training already in a calorie deficit, and the trainer's not even paying attention to the fact that their client's in a calorie deficit already. They're just looking for them to be in a calorie deficit. So if you come to me and I ask you those three questions and you're telling me right off the bat that you may eat once a day, I know that in the 6-week period, we're going to have a conversation about nutrition. Why are we not going to have that conversation sooner than 6 weeks? Because I really want to see how your body adapts to the fact that now you are doing physical activity in addition to whatever you were doing before. So again, the most important process here is to see how your body adapts to when you start lifting weights with a discipline consistently. And at that point in time is when, if in the 6-week period, I do not see progress, and progress can mean that you're getting stronger, you're feeling energized, you're sleeping better, because as you exercise, that can also help to improve your sleep as well. And automatically, you may find yourself wanting to eat an extra meal in your day. If you're not eating, let's say 3 times a day, you may just automatically add an extra meal because you're going to be hungry because of the fact that by lifting weights, your metabolism starts to move a little bit. So it's really important to pay attention to how your body responds to when you are lifting weights. So when we think about this concept of stop starving yourself into being skinny, it really is this process that we want to get out of this habit, out of this mindset of thinking that we're not supposed to eat. And I know, and I've spoken about this as well, that I know that we have this big trend going on right now regarding fasting and, as I said, calorie deficit, where there's a time and place for when you're going to fast. And if you are going to fast, I recommend that you work with a practitioner that specializes in fasting, so that you're fasting for the right purposes. Because if your purpose of fasting is for quick weight loss, at the end of that fast, the quick weight loss that you accomplish, you're going to put that weight back on because you're going to go back to your old habits. So again, my philosophy is always about when you create a new plan, is that plan going to be able to help you maintain it as a lifestyle so you can maintain the results you got from it? Because again, and I say this about walking as well, if you're somebody that's going to walk your 10,000 steps a day and you get results from walking 10,000 steps a day, and then all of a sudden, over a period of time, you find that you're not seeing the results anymore, because it comes back to the concept that your body adjusts to that routine. So when you're walking, let's say you're walking 2 or 3 times a week, and over a 2-week period, 3-week period, your body gets adjusted. It gets comfortable with that walk, where it's not as challenging as it was when you first started. So yeah, rightfully so, when you first start, you may see some changes in your body based on first starting, but then once you have been doing that routine for a little bit, and we're talking about walking, your body's going to plateau and you're not going to see the same results you were seeing when you first started. That's why I always speak about making sure you add strength training into your routine, because strength training is really the only activity that you can do that you don't have to add more time to get more results. Where you get the results from comes from the progressive overload, because what you're adding more to is increasing the load, or you might increase the repetition in order to see the results you're looking to see. And in theory, you can continue to see results when it comes to strength training as often as you are in that progressive overload. So just to give you an example, within a matter of 3 months to 6 months, you could definitely see a noticeable change in regards to your strength and even your body composition as you go through progressive overload. Now, where you're going to see a significant change in reference to, like, if you are looking for the striations, what is called the 6-pack, that really comes about with changing the way you're eating. Not in reference to changing in reference to going into a calorie deficit, which is what everyone keeps talking about, but just changing the way you're eating, where you're making healthier choices with the foods that you are consuming. And that you are managing your dietary habits by knowing exactly, let's say, how much protein you're consuming in your day. How many times a day are you having protein? If you're someone who's eating 5 times a day, in theory, you want to be having protein in every meal that you're eating. So 5 times a day, you want to have protein. Now, I want to talk a little bit about protein and the better source of protein to take, because again, this is another fad that's out there right now in regards to where do you get your protein from. And the idea of thinking it's just too hard to get protein from real food, and that is not true. So for right off the bat, I do want to put it out there that if you are someone that is eating 5 times a day, and most of your protein is coming from protein powders or protein bars, my suggestion would be try to cut back on the protein powders and protein bars and see about getting some real food in your body, where you can, first meal of the day, you can have 3 eggs, and 3 eggs is sufficient amount of protein for the morning. And then come your second meal, you could do 3 ounce or 6 ounce of grilled chicken, and that will give you another source of protein right there. Then you can do a handful of any form of nuts, whether you want to do walnuts, cashew nuts, almonds. You can mix that in with any of your vegetables you're going to have to get some more protein. And then you may want to turn around and maybe do, if you eat red meat, you can have red meat as well. If you want to do lean turkey as a sandwich, you could do that as well. But it is very possible to get your protein from real food throughout your day, as opposed to relying on protein shakes and protein bars to get your protein from. And the other thing I want to bring to your attention when we talk about protein is learn how to read your labels, because there are a lot of food products out there these days that on the label it will read in big bold lettering protein, and in theory is how much protein is actually in there. So if you're, let's say for example, I know there are cereals out there these days that have protein written on the label, but yet when you turn and look at the ingredients to how much protein is in that cereal, it's not really enough protein for you that you're going to need based on a serving. Because in theory, the general guideline for protein intake for general population is anywhere between 0.8 to 1.0 grams of protein per kilogram, or just to make it easy math, whatever you weigh is 1 gram of protein per pound. So if you're 100 pounds, you want 100 grams of protein. If you're 150 pounds, you want 150 grams of protein. Now, my suggestion is if you're going to do, to divide that up, let's take that 150 and divide it into 5 meals. We're looking at 30 grams of protein each meal. Not really that hard to do. And if you want to make it easier for you, maybe your breakfast and maybe your lunch, you can have maybe 40 grams of protein in those 2 meals each. And then in the rest of your day, you can get your 20 grams of protein. Ideally, you want to get that protein throughout the day, not just try to get it all in one sitting. This way here, you're actually fueling your body throughout the day. It's the same concept when it comes to water. You know, when we think about how much water do we need to drink in our day to stay hydrated, you want to drink water throughout the day, not have big gulps of water at one sitting and then don't drink water the rest of your day. So my rule of thumb when it comes to water, very simple, is have a 16-ounce bottle of water, which is 2 glasses of water. Have that with you. First thing in the morning, I recommend drinking some hot water with maybe some lemon, ginger, and even some cinnamon in it, or some honey in it, or turmeric in it as well, just to help the digestive system. And then from that point on, make sure you're drinking your water 16 ounces, about a half hour before each meal. And this way here, it's going to help you digest your food better. And if you're having it before each meal, and we already established you're eating 5 times a day, and you're having that 16 ounce, that's two cups of water. So 2 cups of water, 5 times a day, you're getting your 10 cups of water into your day. Now, you may be somebody that needs a little bit more water than 10 cups a day, depending on, again, your weight and your height. So take that into consideration. And if that is you, just make sure you're getting the amount of water you need in your day. Another thing I want you to pay attention to when you talk about water is getting your electrolytes in as well. There are some new water brands that actually have electrolytes in water, like I believe Essential, I think it's called Essential Plus One, has electrolytes in it. Or you could just turn around and do like I do. I do usually about an 8-ounce cup of coconut water. And I do that twice a day, maybe not 8 ounces. I'll do 4 in the morning or 4 at night to get my electrolytes in, so my water is covered. So you want to pay attention to that. Why? The coconut water or electrolytes is actually going to fuel your cellular system to help your body stay hydrated. So when you are drinking water, you're not peeing it right out. You know, have you ever noticed that when you are drinking water that you have to go to the bathroom immediately? That's because your body is not absorbing the water. So pay attention to that as well. Another thing I want to bring to the table is our carbohydrates. Not something many personal trainers or coaches really talk about, because again, we're constantly talking about how to be in a calorie deficit or be in a fast, and we forget that we need those carbohydrates to give us the energy we're looking to have. So carbohydrates that I would recommend, if there's such a thing as good or bad, I would recommend go with your rice, go with your potatoes, go with your oats, go with your sweet potatoes as well. Those are like your primary source of carbohydrates. And then, yeah, so what did I say? Your oats, your rice, whether you want to do brown or white, that's up to you. Um, the sweet potatoes, your yams, all of those are really good sources of carbohydrates. And of course, if you like lentils, if you like beans, throw that in the mix as well. Really great to get that protein as well. And you want to get that into your day, you can do, if need, you could do about a cup of serving for each one, maybe 2 or 3 times in the course of your day. Breakfast, maybe lunch, maybe dinner. You know, you also want to get your vegetables in there. And if you are a fruit eater, I'd recommend, if you are going to do fruit, that you get that fruit in by midday and no later than before dinner time. This way here your body utilizes that sugar in the most important, in the most probable way there is. And let's not forget, we also need to get fat into our diet. So again, you have your avocados, you have your oils, you have your butters, you have your nuts, as I mentioned before. You want to get your fat in. You do not want to deprive yourself. You do not want your fat to be too low, because again, our body needs fat in order for it to function. Now, if you are someone who is an athlete, a competitor, and your diet is going to look a lot different depending on the season you're in at that point in time, which then means this conversation is not about you, because you have a specific goal in mind. Now, I do want to talk a little bit about competitors, more specifically like bodybuilders, bikini competitors, fitness competitors, in regards to trying to maintain that type of lifestyle as a lifestyle, because it's not a lifestyle. So if you are someone that is training to do a competition, to get on stage, and you're in your prep, you're doing your 12 weeks, or maybe you're going a little longer on that program. Once that program is over, it's about reverse diet. Reverse dieting is the word they use to get yourself back in the healthy way of eating. Because again, as a former competitor myself, getting to that point where you have striations, your six-pack is showing, is not healthy. And nevertheless, to maintain that as a lifestyle. And if you're maintaining that as a lifestyle, what's happening is that your body fat is really low. And for women, especially women over 30, our body fat really in the range, should be in the range of anywhere between, I believe the numbers are 22 to I think 25% as healthy. And in order for you to get those striations, to see those striations, you do need to be in single digits. And being in a single digit as a lifestyle creates a lot of unhealthy habits. So I just want you to pay attention to that. So again, the theme to come to a conclusion for the night, I'm going to pull a card, is stop starving yourself skinny. If your whole goal is to be skinny, you may want to reevaluate your goal, because it's not about being skinny. Because there is such a thing as there's an expression called a skinny fat person. Somebody that is too thin and is not strength training with progressive overload, and they're just thin, means their skeletal system has very little muscle. And if you have very little muscle, that's going to create some health issues down the road that you can prevent if you were to revise what it is you are doing. So the idea is not to focus on being skinny as it is to focus more on being strong. That's really the key component, is you want to focus on being strong. Strong is the new trend right now, is to be strong. Are you strong enough to carry packages? Are you strong enough to carry a gallon of milk up a flight of stairs? Are you strong enough to carry a watermelon up a flight of stairs? Are you strong enough to walk a block or two with groceries in your hands? Are you strong enough to get down on the floor and then get back off the floor? Are you strong enough to get up out of your chair? That is where strength comes into play. All functional activities is what's required when it comes to strength. And what I see happen more often than I care to share is that if you are not participating in strength training progressive overload, what's going to happen is your body is going to lose muscle tissue because you're not lifting. And if you are lifting weights but there's no progressive overload and you're just using the same weight over and over and over again, you're not challenging your muscle for your muscle to respond and create new muscle. So it's really important that you challenge your muscle in one way or another with at least one exercise per body part that you are challenging your muscle so your body can see the response. Otherwise, again, if you are lifting weights but you are not doing a progressive overload, what's going to happen over time is your body's just going to plateau and you're not going to see the results you're looking to see. So there really is no getting away from progressive overload. And just a brief, what is progressive overload? What does that look like? Progressive overload means that you are progressing the muscle. And that can look like increased weight, extra reps, or changing the routine, or the intensity of the routine. Now, my suggestion, the easiest way to do progressive overload is one of two ways. Increase your weight. Keep your rep range about anywhere from 4 repetitions to no more than 10 repetitions. Once you can do more than 10 repetitions on an exercise with good form and performing that exercise with 3 sets, it's time to increase your weight and then drop the reps down. So if you start with 10 pounds doing something and you can get that 3 sets of 10 with good form, 2 weeks later, it's time to increase that weight and drop the reps. Go back down to that 4 or 6 reps. Now, if you're able to perform that exercise and you're able to do more than 10 reps, then that's the giveaway. That weight's not doing anything for you. It's also about a mind-body connection. You have to be connected to the muscle you are working with in order to get the results you're looking to get. So anybody can lift weights and not pay attention to what they're doing and just lift. But you got to be mindful of what it is you are doing. So my suggestion, again, with a progressive overload is to pay attention to the weight you're lifting and how many repetitions you're doing. And if you're doing the form good and you can perform that with 2 to 3 sets, your next workout, it's time to increase the weight and drop the reps. And then do that pyramid. So you increase the weight, reps come down to, let's say, 4 to 6. You do that with good form, and you'll notice maybe within a matter of maybe 4 weeks of performing that exercise over a 4-week period, that by 4 weeks later, that's going to get light too, and then there's a progression. There's always going to be a progression. My suggestion is also to keep a log, a notebook with pen, writing down what it is you're doing. Keeping a log in reference to the time you're working out, so you can see that as progression as well. I also recommend that you time your rest periods, that your rest period for each set is equal in time. Whereas this way here, you can determine whether or not your workout is, that you're actually getting results. So if you're timing your rest periods, I recommend the heavier you're lifting, the longer you have to rest. Focus on how your breathing recovers. And I would not rest anything less than a minute. And if you need to rest longer than that minute, do so. Note it. And make sure you're actually resting and that you're not caught up in a conversation or you didn't go strolling on videos or whatever, that you're actually resting, mindfully resting in the workout. Now, I know there's such a thing as called active rest, where you're not doing the actual exercise, but you might be doing an abdominal exercise. My suggestion is eliminate the active rest and rest. In order for you to see what you're looking to see, you want to make sure you're giving your body time to recover. Other thing I want to bring to the table, and then we're going to go for that card reading, is when you are working out, avoid exercises that are combined exercises, not compound, combined. What do I mean by that? If you are doing a overhead press and then going into a squat, two things that don't work very well with that. Your legs can handle a lot more weight than your shoulders can. So ideally, what you're doing as the overhead press is challenging your shoulders, but it's doing absolutely nothing for your legs. So my suggestion would be take those two exercises and separate them. I would actually suggest not to do your shoulders when you're doing your legs. There's this concept called you want the blood to stay in the area. So if you're working your legs and then you're going to go work your shoulders, the blood has to transfer too far. So my suggestion would be have your leg day for your leg day and your upper body for your upper body. And avoid, again, like I said, I mean, I see combinations such as lunges with bicep curls. Again, your legs can handle more than your bicep curls can. So you want to get a fair workout. You want all your muscles to work out equally to get the results you're looking to get. And again, if you're wondering, I've done it too. I've been in this industry for over 4 decades. I have taught boot camp classes, CrossFit programs, and these were all programs we did back in the days when I used to be a group fitness instructor. There I was with my group in my teens and 20s, having them do overhead press with squats as a group fitness routine. And you will see that in a group fitness class because it's fun ways to move your body. However, again, if you are somebody that is taking classes, group fitness classes, and you're relying on that as for your workouts, reality of it all is my suggestion is if you are limited on time, choose to get into a weight room to do your workout and not do the fun class because your results are going to be very different when you're in the weight room. Even if you are in the classes where they're increasing the weight each set, because they do have those classes as well. I've seen them a lot. However, they may not be going at the pace that you need to be, and you're not going to get the results you're looking for. So again, you want to invest your time and energy, and you want to get the results at the end of your day. So concluding, stop starving yourself skinny means you need to incorporate food into your day so you can actually get the results that you're looking for at the end of your day. And believe it or not, it may be a little challenging at first, but once you get in the habit of eating 4 or 5 times a day, your body is going to thank you. You're going to get remarkable results from it, and you're going to really see the transformation occurring. If you are planning on a fast, make sure you're fasting for the right reasons, and it's not just so you can have quick weight loss. And if you are working with a trainer that has you on a calorie deficit, you may want to reevaluate that. Because again, from my perspective, being on a calorie deficit may not be your best bet. I do not believe in restricting calories. I do not believe in cutting calories. I do not believe in dieting in general. Because again, as you lift weights, your body needs that fuel in order to get the results you're looking to accomplish. Otherwise, you could, at the end of your day, be sabotaging the very results that you're working so hard to get. So if I have said anything that's resonating with you, if you are kind of curious about my method, my philosophies, and how I work with clients like yourself, and you want to go ahead and grab a complimentary session, go ahead and reach out. My email is right there, healingwithin76@gmail.com. We can have a nice conversation, 15-minute complimentary session. All you have to do is mention that you saw this here on my YouTube page, and you might be seeing this on Facebook, and I'll be more than happy to getting you on my calendar. We can have that 15-minute conversation, see where you are, and how this process will work for you. In addition, please note that when I am working with you during that time frame, I will be inquiring about your natal chart, which is your astrology chart. Reason being is that chart is going to give me some insight to who you are on a soul level. It's also going to give me some insight to where you are on your journey regarding whether or not this is your season to be focusing on reshaping, or if this is your season where you're going to be holding on to a little bit of weight. Now, what do I mean by this is your season where you might be holding on to a little bit more weight, or this is your season to release the weight? What I mean by that is if you are going through something, if you have a challenge going on, maybe you have a challenge going on in your relationship, maybe there's some stress going on in your career, that itself may not be the best time to be focusing on your body transforming in a different way. That doesn't mean that you should not be strength training. It just means that you need to redirect your focus for something else. And I will be able to see all that based on your astrology chart. And also I'll be able to see all that when I ask you some questions about your personal energy year number, because that gives me insight as well. So for example, when we talk about your personal energy year number from 1 to 9 or 11 or 22 in numerology, that number is going to determine where you are. So if you are in your 1 energy year, this is about doing things in a different way. If you are in your 2 energy year, this is about the relationship that you do have with your body, the relationship you have with food, and maybe even the relationship you have with your inner child, and maybe something needs to change with that relationship between the three. Now, if you are in your 3rd year, if you are in the number 3 energy, 3 is all about how you communicate. The conversations you have with yourself, the conversations that you're going to have with me as your trainer, and the conversations and the logging that you're going to be doing in regards to transforming your physical body and transforming your mindset as well. Now, if you are in your 4 energy year, it really is about being at home, more comfortable in your own physical body, more comfortable in your own skin, comfortable at home where you have the correct nutrients in your home so you can nourish your body and soul at the same token. If you're in your 5 energy year, this might be about traveling. You may be doing a little bit more traveling than usual, which means you're going to have to adapt to preparing your food so you can take it to go, so you're not limited on eating outside and having being extra cautious on what it is you are eating. So that 5 is really about the changes that you're undergoing because you may be doing a little bit more traveling than usual. If you're in your 6 energy year, it really is about your nervous system. It's about your digestive system. It's how you're digesting food and how you're digesting your current situation that you are in at the moment of time, whether that situation is related to a relationship, your career, or your health for that matter. Then we have 7. If you're in your 7 year, this is a time for quieting yourself down. This is your time where you may be moving a little slower than usual. That's where that strength training is going to play a huge role, because maybe you're in this quiet mode. Maybe you're in reflection. Maybe you're meditating. Maybe you're just on the spiritual venture in itself. The 8 energy is all about having more harmony and balance in your life. So yes, you may be really curious about how can you transform your physical body so you can have more harmony and balance in your physical body. The 9th energy is this process of seeking the truth, being more truthful to yourself and asking yourself, can I be a stronger, healthier version of who I am? And what do I need to seek out so I can have that? And it's a higher consciousness. It's really moving into a whole different way of how you're evolving and changing this whole process of the connection you do have with food and your body. And then we have that's the 9th house. The 11th is mastery, which if you are in your 11th energy year, this is about how you're mastering the relationship with yourself. And that may look like, again, you're going to change the way you're eating. You're going to change your sleep pattern. You're going to change the relationship with your food. You may also notice that certain foods that you once upon a time liked, you don't like anymore. And then we have that 22 where you are that master builder. You are building something. You are building this new soul relationship with your physical body. And you're becoming more mindful of that connection. So there you have it. So again, we are going to stop starving ourselves to being skinny. We're going to love the body we are in. We are going to start fueling our body so our body has the energy to do the things we want to do. We are going to start loving every curve on our body. We are going to start helping our body to get stronger by creating a discipline with strength training and going with that progressive overload. And remember, you have to start somewhere when it comes to lifting weights. So maybe you will start with the lighter weight, but then over a period of time, there's got to be a progression. I do recommend that you do hire a trainer to do this, that you don't do this alone. Because even though you may think you know what you're doing, ideally having a trainer to keep an eye on you, make sure your form is right, is so important because that prevents you from getting injured. And also, as the client, you also want to make sure you're questioning their credentials. How long have they been doing what they're doing? What is their success rate when we're working with their clients? And what is their physical credentials? Who are they certified by? What knowledge do they have? Are they knowledgeable to be talking to you about nutrition? All of that is important for you to pay attention to because, again, you're hiring somebody that you're investing in to help you invest into yourself. Think of it as when you hire a trainer, you're investing in you. Otherwise, if you think of it as spending money, it's something you may not do because you may not feel like you're worthy of spending money on. And that we also have to change that whole philosophy as well. And that's also what I help my clients with as well. It's not just about helping the client feel good in their skin. It's about helping the client love and value themselves enough that they are worthy of the investments of hiring a trainer. And it's not hiring a trainer for just a few weeks or a few months. It's hiring a trainer, someone that you're going to have with you constantly to keep you going, to motivate you, to discipline you, to help you get to that next transformation. All right, what do we need to know from today as we come to our conclusion? Card of the day. Great message. Very great message. Because again, when we think about the process of transformation, the process of releasing weight without dieting, the process of just going through this whole shift requires patience. Patience. You need to have patience because, again, whatever it is your goal is that you're looking to accomplish, so if you are looking to be stronger, you're not going to get strong overnight. It's going to take time. If you are looking to release the emotional story you've been carrying so you can release and let go of the baggage, that's going to require time. Everything's about peeling the onion, peeling a layer. Patience. The number 4 is about really being at home, and it's very much associated with the full moon we are in. The full moon in Aries is literally the beginning of the new astrological cycle when it comes to the moon, because Aries is the first zodiac sign, and now the moon is going to work through all the phases again. The green is the matters of the heart. What is really matters to you? Understand your why, understand your because. Why are you doing what you're doing? And get that because in there because that's really important. Your why may end up not being strong enough to keep you going, but the because will definitely be something that's going to keep you going as well. So again, final words for the night. If you are looking to do a fast, make sure you are looking to fast for the right reasons, not just for quick weight loss, because once you stop that fast, whatever weight you lost from that fast, you're going to gain it back fast. Hello, folks, right? Isn't it interesting on how our words really tell us what's going on? When we think about dieting, the first 3 letters in dieting is die. You literally die. Your soul dies off because of the lack of nutrition you're giving it when you're dieting. Calorie deficit. We should never be in a deficit. We should never be in a deficit. We should always have enough. That's a part of the process of feeling enough, being accepted. When you are going to a calorie deficit, you're literally telling your body that it's not enough. We have to get in this habit of learning that everything is enough. Everything is enough. We are enough. And we need to learn to fuel our body so our body can be enough, so our body can do the things we wanted to do in the course of the day, and that we're not running out of energy, that we have the energy to do the things we want to do, that we are confident enough, we have the motivation, we have the energy in our brain. A big part of one of the reasons why so many people complain about brain fog, or the numbers in regards to dementia is gotten so high, is because there's so many people that are malnourished. There are so many people that are not eating enough nutritious food to feed their brain. So if their brain is not getting enough fuel, it's not going to function properly. So it's really important Keep this in your mind. Stop starving yourself skinny. You're not meant to be skinny. You're meant to be strong. You're meant to be strong. There are people out there that are naturally skinny, but they are still strong. There's a big difference. And believe me when I say, and I see this all the time in the industry with over 4 decades of being in this industry, you are going to, at some point in your life, when you get older, wish that you kept on the weight that you have, because there's going to come a time where you may find yourself losing weight. Another thing I want you to pay attention to, I said this earlier, when it comes to the weight that we carry, there's reason why we carry weight. Sometimes it really is just about grounding us. Sometimes that weight is there because we may go through a season where we end up getting coming down with an illness, and the weight that we're carrying, we may end up losing that weight due to that illness. So we are not giving ourselves the nutrients we need, and we're already skinny. You have nothing to support you. So just think about that. I've witnessed way too many women and men that are not strength training, and that they get really skinny because what they're doing is their body is literally losing muscle mass. And as your body loses muscle mass, you're losing the protection that if, God forbid, you ever lose your footing and you fall, you're more likely to break something. So let's get out of this habit of starving ourselves so we can be skinny. Let's focus on being strong. Let's focus on fueling our body so our body can feel enough. And remind yourself that you are enough, and we don't want to restrict. We never want to say no to ourselves. If you want that piece of cake, have that piece of cake. You want that cookie, have the cookie. Everything in moderation, because when you give yourself everything in moderation, you never crave for it because you're allowing yourself to have it. And that is the key. Remember, whatever result you're looking to accomplish, be patient. Be patient. Be patient with yourself. Be patient with others. We have an amazing energy of planets this week coming through. Pay attention to that full moon and do your rituals. And I will see you again next month. Hopefully, I will be on my show next month, and I'll be there instead of here. But whatever the case is, thank you so much for being with me tonight. I appreciate you. Feel free to share this out. If you're watching on Facebook, please go ahead and share it out. If you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and share it out, and I will share it out as well. Until we meet again, have a great night, everyone. Take a froze. Ooh, come on. There you go.